So Sean Baker did a little film project in Florida. It's called the Florida Project. We've literally been discussing an opening for this video for the last 5 minutes, and that's what I've come up with, so we're gonna deal with it. This is a really good movie! Like, really good? Like really good?
Whoa. Let's go, come on!
So, The Florida Project is the next film from Sean Baker. He most recently kind of shot to fame with his little film called Tangerine.
Shot to fame because he shot it on an iPhone.
Yeah, so there you go. He did a little film called Tangerine. It was all shot on an iPhone. He got quite a lot of attention for that film. This is his next film called The Florida Project, and it is very, very exciting. Why? Because it follows a little 6-year-old. That's exciting because she's...
That sounded so...
I don't think I'm ever coming back from that one.
In the movie, we follow this character, a 6-year-old girl played by Brooklyn Prince. Her name's Mooney, and we hang out with her and her friends. She's living with her mum at this kind of motel called the Magic Castle, which is run by the manager played by Willem Dafoe. And this is a movie that kind of, I'd say it doesn't necessarily have any narrative, even though the whole time you're watching it, you know that it's building towards a certain event, and the kind of joy is watching how these characters kind of navigate there and find their way there. But this is very much a movie about capturing what childhood is, especially in the face of the hardships that a lot of adults that are really struggling out there are facing. You know, like how do you bring up a kid, how do you fit into the world and all that type of thing, but it's lensed through the eyes of these 6-year-old kids, and I think this movie is simply wonderful.
Yeah, it's a really beautiful film, and it just kind of captures children's imagination and the joy and wonder they can bring to everyone in kind of like the hardest of circumstances, because all of our characters here are living hard lives. They're, you know, they're not well off, they're poverty stricken, and they're really quite struggling. But the film just follows these young, you know, kids who are just having so much fun and wonder and joy, yeah, in their lives. And, you know, I think it's great to kind of find the heart in such dark times, especially in this story.
I think what is so great about what Sean Baker has done with this film is that he's kind of targeted the fact that these are really kind of shitty situations that these people are living in. And he's very, very aware, and he does definitely make it clear that these people quite often can be responsible for the situations they find themselves in because they make the same mistakes and whatnot. And yet, he has such an authentic and heartfelt kind of way of capturing these people and the way they live, and finds the beauty in it, and says that no matter all these struggles and these hardships that these people go through, there is beauty in the way that they live. There's a beauty in being free and just trying to find a way to support yourself and your family. And yeah, there's definitely points where he's definitely frowning on some of the behavior that these characters in this location are taking part in, but I feel like he's just got a really, really strong knack for, I guess, portraying a kind of truth in the situation and in the characters. And I think so much of that comes from the fact that this film really is told pretty much, I'd say 90% through the eyes of these kids who don't really understand the situation that's going on around them. They don't really understand the gravity of their parents' dilemmas. And yet in this world, they're kind of feral, but they very much are just kids. And there's a really, really strong joy to just watching them.
Now, we have an absolute powerhouse of a cast here, and absolutely fantastic performances from everyone, but I'm just going to go through them a little bit, because Willem Dafoe here at the forefront is our most experienced actor, and he gives a wonderful, naturalistic performance that is very subtle in the moment, and he shows a lot, but I think in the long run, and thinking back to this film, he's incredibly memorable and so heartfelt and caring. Now, the mother of our character, Mooney, is played by Bria, Vinaite, I believe, and she was actually not an actress whatsoever. She was pretty much more or less, from what I know, picked up off the street from Sean Baker and cast in the film, and I think that's massive kudos to Sean Baker for taking on that task, and then for her to come along and create a performance that is just so incredibly natural. So from there, I've really got to kind of congratulate almost Sean Baker in the fact that, like, he got such a beautiful performance from Willem Dafoe, but also such a very natural and nuanced performance from a non-actor as
Really
well.
visceral. He just gets the best out of everyone, I think. And I think a lot of the performances here become a testament to what he's able to do as a director, particularly with the kids.
Yeah, especially, and moving on to Brooklyn Prince. Now, we've heard so much about how great she was in this film, but I think, you know, once you're watching, you're just in awe of these kids and what, you know, you're just having fun with them, but all of a sudden, there's a certain moment in the film near the end, and you're just like, okay, Brooklyn Prince's performance here is actually astounding. Like, she just takes your breath away and you pretty much fall in love with her because she just gives
you have from the start, but it's just so heartbreaking, this scene.
So heartbreaking, but just such a wonderful, wonderful little performance.
On an aesthetic level, this film's got a really kind of visceral playfulness to it. It's able to go in there and capture these hard moments in their stark reality, but it's also able to be incredibly fun and freewheeling and flowing, and I think it's kind of just capturing that kind of perspective of kids that are kind of allowed to just go and do pretty much whatever they want to do. And you definitely get moments in this movie where there's just absolute creative bliss. I mean, it is gorgeously shot. It is one of the best looking movies of the year. There's a great shout out here I want to give to the location scouters and the set designs. This location they're filming on just has endless visual opportunities that are completely creative and gorgeous to look at. But this film really does have this kind of immaculately creative design that feels like it was kind of improvised and that they came up with it on the spot, but yet feels so completely purposeful and authentic. And I think just, yeah, completely from a design standpoint here, this is a really, really stunning movie. And this is just a really, really fun movie that's really all about capturing life and enjoying what life has to offer, no matter what your situation is. And I think you definitely catch that flow, and I think that some people may be tested in certain points before you hit kind of the final act of the movie, which really has a lot of momentum. I found for myself, I think maybe 10 minutes could have been trimmed off this without really losing a whole lot, but I think that's a completely subjective thing because it kind of depends on what you're with the film. I feel like I was like, hey, here's the point that's been made, the setup's there, let's kind of just like get to the payoff as such. But that's just for me. I think a lot of people will find that the pacing is completely perfect, and it's not an overly long movie. I just think for me personally, you could have chopped a little bit and it would have been completely fine.
Look, I mean, I think it's just a subjective thing. I mean, how you respond to the film anyway by the end of it. But what's really, really important here and what is really good, I think everyone's going to have a good time with this film, and you're going to walk away possibly with a few tears, but also with a smile on your face as well, because it has a really beautiful ending that kind of goes for the heart, goes for the human side of everyone, and as much as these circumstances that these characters are living in truly do suck, and they're not necessarily ever going to get any better, it just finds the heart somehow. You don't know how it's going to do it, but it does it, and goddamn, it's gorgeous. So anyway, if you do get the chance to check out this film, we'd highly recommend it because it's just such a beautiful little time at the movies, and it's well worth the price of admission. So we're going to go with an 8.8 for this one. Just go and check it out.
It's just gorgeous. Just really is just a great movie, and it's worth seeing. So that was our review of The Florida Project. Have you seen it yet?
Did you like it?
Did you hate it?
Did you like this video?
Of course you did.
Crave more banter.
If so, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel down there somewhere.
And don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter, all at Breaking Banter.
And also a Patreon, because we got one of those, you know, so hey.